Conservatives, meanwhile, set to meet today with Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg after news broke last week that the social media giant may be suppressing conservative news on its site. But of the 6 people meeting with Zuckerberg, none of them had their views blocked on Facebook, unlike my next guest, who had this post blocked. No profanity, no hate speech, just conservative principles. This post, for some reason, Facebook said violated its, quote, community standards. And Fox News' radio host Todd Starnes says this issue is a whole lot bigger than just one single post. Todd, good to have you back here.
Thanks, Trish.
Tell me about this post that you got in so much trouble for.
Oh, yeah, got named the bad boy of Facebook for that one. I wrote about the NRA and Chick-fil-A and Jesus and Cracker Barrel, all the trigger words for the left. So it got me banned. Facebook sent me a message shortly after I posted that item, and they said it had violated their community standards. Not only was the post removed, I was blocked. The entire page was taken off of Facebook for about 12 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
So the issue...
And how'd you get back on?
Well, the power of Fox. The bosses got involved, and I believe we did a story about it. And eventually, Facebook saw the error of their ways, sent us an apology. And get
Todd,
this.
Go ahead.
The Washington Post, the left-wingers over at the Washington Post actually came to our defense on this one.
Well, you know, look, Jen Morgan, you may know Jen, she's a frequent guest on this show. She had the exact same thing happen to her. She had put up a post, actually a clip from our show, showing her being interviewed about Syrian refugees, and she said, look, you know, we shouldn't be bringing them here. She had some real security concerns about it. What do you know? She got put in Facebook jail for 30 days. It wasn't until she said, guess what, I'm going on with Trish tomorrow, that they backed off, and they said, oops, sorry, apology, and gave her an apology similar to what you're saying. But what happens to the people out there that aren't like you or aren't like Jan and don't have a mechanism to get their story out there?
You see, that is the big story here. I don't think it's the issue about trending, you know, and you know, I'm not sure if they were blocking conservative news or whatever. I don't care about that. What I do care about, though, are all the folks out there, the conservatives and the Christians who've found themselves in the situation where they've been blocked or banned, and they don't have the big newspapers or television stations or the networks to help them get back onto Facebook. And there are many, many, many people like that. I've heard from hundreds of them, Trish, on my website. Folks have been emailing me and saying, what do we do? How can we get a hold of Facebook to get unblocked? And yet at the same time, Trish, there are just dozens and dozens of websites that are disparaging conservatives, Republicans, and women. Those meet Facebook's community standards, but apparently Jesus and Chick-fil-A do not.
When this was first happening to Jan, she had shown me some of the things that were allowed, which were just atrocious and would just make you sick to see. And you think about how terrorists have actually been communicating and meeting in these online platforms, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, be it other services.
Right.
That's somehow allowed, and yet they're taking your pages down. So, you know, you look at this big meeting that's happening between Mark Zuckerberg and some conservatives today, conservatives that do have a voice in the media. Sure. And what do you think? Big photo op?
I think it's a huge photo op, and I'm not quite sure it's going to accomplish much. If the Mark Zuckerberg that in real life is the same one that we saw in Social Network, I will be very surprised if they get anything done. But you know what? Look, had the meeting. Hopefully, you know, our colleague Dana Perino might be able to convince him and sway his opinion on this. But to be honest, I'm not quite sure we're going to change Facebook's mind here.
Yeah. At the end of the day, however, it is a company, a private company, and, you know, you're a free market capitalist just like I am. And I just ask, why don't conservatives go and find their own version of Facebook then? You
know, they tried to do that back around 2013, and they had, I think, about 250,000 people who actually joined this alternative version, which was, you know, sort of supposed to be a place of open debate. It just didn't really take off. I describe it like this. Facebook is sort of like the Donald Trump of the social networking world. Nobody really wants to vote for him, but he's the only game in town. So
they're big. They're big.
Huge.
They're the only game in town, and you know, I guess, you know, at the end of the day, they're promising that they're not doing this, but yet they are, and there is bias involved, and that's where it gets tricky.
Maybe they should get a conservative emojicon or something, you know.
There you go. All right. Well, my money's on Dana. We're going to see what she can do.
Go, Dana.
Some magic.